There's a countdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another installation of the Starfall Collective, a Jade Odyssey. I am Josh, your DM for the evening, and to be playing some live action D&D 5e with my good friends. I'm gonna say your name, please, and the name of the character that you're playing, and what race they are. And then if you want anything about them, but at least just your name, your character's name, race of your character. Dwight.
Hello, I am Dwight, and I am playing Inian Tumley, a wood elf.
Excellent. LT.
Hi, I'm LT. I'm playing Jim Varden, a round-eared sorcerer.
Jacob.
Hi, I'm playing Pone, the Tiefling Monk.
Mr. Talamini.
Hey, my name is Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and my website is MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew TALAMINI.com. I play the High Elf Warlock Crocular.
My brain is still telling me that you're saying the wrong thing when you don't say the shirtless wizard Diamondback.
I said that it was every week for like more than a year.
It's been a while. Jared.
Hey, my name's Jared. I'm playing Ivan, a Hispanic.
Latino. Okay. Okay.
Just kidding, because you said race.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
One question is, are there Hispanic humans and Hispanic elves and Hispanic drow and Hispanic dwarves? Is there a whole two-dimensional matrix of like actual ethnicity / D&D ethnicity?
As the acting DM, I say the camera slam cuts and we see a starfall screaming down to Earth. A crater of Earth erupts. A small child wanders forward and picks up a large, dark red that says Valentino. He takes a tiny taste, and it's immediately turned into a Latino. A nearby elf grabs it and tastes some, and then an orc comes and becomes Latino. I'm 100% sure that my Mexican friends will appreciate this, because for them, they say that if you cut them, they'll bleed Valentina. So,
and yet somehow that is absolutely not canon.
And yet some. All right, sorry, back up. 60 seconds. Anyway, when last we met, our players managed to take their hard-earned coin, earned by defending the ship against an onslaught of nearly a dozen stone mantles, and they took that money, that Ivan managed to dodge, and spent it mostly at Gnome Depot, where Jim purchased a arcane blunderbuss for himself that's got a large kind of arcane core, right, where you'd expect there to be a flintlock and a place to add powder and whatnot. Instead, this is discharging arcane fiery energy.
And a leather backstrap.
Oh, that's right. It's on its own backstrap. So very, Bruce Campbell's character,
Evil Dead, Ash
Ketchum.
No, that's the Pokemon guy.
Kid.
Yeah,
that's the
Pokemon kid.
Anyway, he's got a really cool blunderbuss on his back. Ivan Crocular managed to purchase a ring of fireball. He was able to afford it by some skullduggery.
A ring of spell storing that only works for fireball.
Yes, you invest spell slots into it, and it allows you to cast fireball. And Inion Tumley got himself a pretty new bow that's got a ring that you can twist, and there are different arcane sigils that allow you to select a particular type of arcane energy. My apologies, everybody. Give me just 10 seconds.
We'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. Hello, this is 29.7, the Ohio, broadcasting out of Ohio.
Quick, identify us some more.
That's all we have.
Burp, 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 burp.
About a pound of bacon and
put it in a container, and my dog managed to eat
all of it. My wife was very concerned that this would have
Oh.
deleterious, but he weighs 80 pounds and he's a dog, so I think he'll be fine.
It's gonna
Just
have
put him
the
outside
mysterious
for the
effect on
night?
your carpet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Gonna sleep with me, and I'm gonna have to
Deal with consequences, but nice thought, nice idea.
I'll
Probably bark all night.
Anyway,
Those are real world problems. We only have fantasy problems. I promise.
Like, how many turtles can we catch today?
Yeah, it's up to you. Make a nature check combined with a dexterity check, and let's come up with a reasonable equation to determine success.
I have a question.
List. Chance to
Do more
shopping, but first, Dwight/Inion has a question.
Are these things real things that are in? Like, should I search for? Runic
I was negligent in my DM duties. I should have made you a custom magic item. Just use the stats for your current bow, but add a D4 of a particular type of damage that you would like. Otherwise, it will function the same. And Jim, I'm going to need to come stats for that. I think for right now, let's just give it the stats of
I'm unlikely to actually use it.
Okay. Well, if you do use it as Eldritch Blast, which means that at level 2d10. So let's do that. If you invest enough spell slots into this, namely 3 increments, if you put 3 level 1 spells, it'll charge up enough to cast Fireball at level 3.
Mr. DM.
Indeed.
I am a warlock.
Yeah.
Level 4 warlock. I only have level 2 spell slots to put in it.
But if you put in 1 level 2,
you will put 3 slots worth
of stuff into it. Now you see
indeed.
The virtue of this ring.
Well, anyway, yes, I'll put spell slots into it, and then take them out accordingly. But I can't actually cast a level 1 spell.
You can only cast a level 2 spell?
I believe that is the rule for warlock.
You don't have any level 1 spell slots, or you only have warlock spell slots, and you can pick whatever you want. So you'd be crazy pick level 2 spells.
No, warlocks. You get very few spell slots as a warlock, but they are all spell slots of your highest possible level.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll have to charge it up in 2 slot increments.
Sure. Okay.
It's fine.
But
you'll be able to recover some of those on a short rest.
So for you should be able to get it charged up a little more easily than any other caster class. So that's actually good synergy for you. So you guys are still at Gnome Depot. Jim and Inion have all checked out. But if anybody else has...
doesn't, but anybody else, you're more than welcome to do some shopping here.
I think Ivan kept his money. He just didn't keep the captain's money.
Right. So, Ivan, you should have at least 1,000 gold.
Yeah, I was hoping to find either something that helps me with wrestling, maybe like a belt that helps me with wrestling, or like some bracers that make me stronger, or like some boots that make me be able to move further in a turn.
Okay. Let's see here. Yep, there are some boots for 1,000 gold that will give you plus 10 to your speed. It looks like some sort of
Foamish.
um, kind of metal magic in them. It looks like as you run, click them into
each other.
there's a mechanism that will activate them, and you'll be able to get a burst of speed out of them.
1 minute.
And it looks like those are only 1,000 gold. So if you have
Nice.
to purchase those. Those will give you bursts of speed.
Heel clickers. I'll go for it.
All right.
Clicky clacky boot.
Boots. If you activate them, you can get an extra minute of plus 10 speed. And Pone, are you good to go? Does anybody want to make any purchases here? Shops in
Did you see Miss Bizarre?
Well, let me ask something. Just because last session I managed to find out the location of some like hidden treasure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we may not have time to go and retrieve it. I never really got a sense of, and probably maybe this is because Crocular never got a sense of it, but like how far away it would be to that location, and how much time we would have to invest in getting there.
So there are a
Number of ways to advance your knowledge of the situation. The general details that you know already.
When you were reading
the thoughts of this captive, it was anger and resentment and frustration.
he was not
Going to be able to spend his prize. You saw of a lockbox, and you saw that there was at least a top layer of small platinum ingots. Each platinum ingot is worth like 10 platinum. So that's worth 100 gold a piece, and there seem to be several of them. Kind of hard to tell exactly how accurate somebody's memory in the midst of but you then saw an image of through his eyes of a pool of water where he had buried box under the water and put a couple of stones on it, and you can see that there's a very distinctive looking set of stones that are kind of sticking out that almost look like a circle of spires on a little crown or something. And there is a large waterfall crashing down into this pool. And you see him through the eyes of this memory. You see him turn, and you see that there's a great tree surprisingly close to the cliff. There really aren't many great trees that close to the cliff. Mostly the great trees are more dense farther away. So in your mind, from up in the airship as you guys were coming into town, you remember seeing only of great trees that could possibly be that tree. There aren't that many. So you know that you're down to a handful of locations, and after that, you would need to find some sort of creative way to either identify, or you would need to find some way to delay the departure of the dancing narwhal, or you'll lose out on the opportunity, or do something that completely surprises me, and I can't foresee it all.
Well, either way, we'll have to wait until we are not in this store anymore. Probably not going to make a lot of progress on it from in here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
You guys have all your stuff. You walk out, and there
I'm
is
actually like,
Oh yeah, please go
Oh,
ahead.
if I could try and, yep.
Yeah, please.
So I have two things that Pone's top priority is a long time ago. He heard about something called the Cloak of the Bat. So that's his top priority. If he can't get that, he'll try and get Boots of Elvenkind, which basically make him sneak easier.
Okay. So you down a gnomish okay. You flag down a member of the Gnome Depot and explain to them that you are seeing either the Cloak of the Bat or the Boots of Elvenkind. And they explain to you that they are Gnome Depot and items that if you want that specific brand of magic, you'd need to go to Feymart. But they do have some items that do
things that you're looking for in there.
Is there a particular feature or the Boots of Elvenkind that you were looking for?
Yes. While wearing this cloak in an area of dim light or darkness, in an area of dim light or in an area of dim light or darkness, you can grip the edges of the cloak with both hands and use it to fly at a speed of 40 feet. If you ever fail to grip the cloak's edges while flying this way, or if you are no longer in dim light or darkness, you lose the flying speed.
Gotcha. So for 1,000,
So
the gnome who's talking to you kind of has his fingers pushed together, and you explain that you want an artifact of flight, and he goes,
yes. And what would our budget for this purchase be?
Well, preferably something around the range of 1,000 gold pieces, but if push comes to shove, I could go a slight bit higher.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that type of feature for that type of price range is. But I'm afraid I do, however, good news. Okay, if you'll come with me, sir.
and he walks you over to an end cap of an aisle,
A number of tubes sticking out of
a barrel that look like they've got little handle grips on the top. And he starts kind of reaching through, and he says,
Here's what I can do for you. You and your friends have spent a good bit of money today, so I think I can get the manager's approval, since I'm the manager, to give you a. Normally this would be 2,000, but I am feeling generous, and let's just do half off. Okay, we'll call it 1,000 gold.
Out of what looks like a pogo stick and says, this is an arcane pogo stick of extreme animation, and if you were to be so brave as to jump upon, depending on how hard you concentrate, how well you attune, and the stars in the sky, you could bounce anywhere from 10 to 50 feet in the air. Now that's not flight. It's certainly enough to get you in trouble. Is this an acceptable alternative? So for 1,000 gold, you can get a pogo stick of extreme but variable outcome.
You can't even control it.
Hey, not with that attitude. So yeah,
My
seriousness, though, reading between the lines, he's speaking a little bit veiled
trying to rip you
because
off.
he's a salesperson, but you do get the impression that this is a very powerful item, and it will get you real good up in the air. But because it's so cheap, it's really cheap because it is a little bit like blunderbuss. It's not a brand new item. And as magic items age out, they tend to get a little more erratic. So you may well get a good 100-foot jump one time and a 0 jump some other time. Most of the time it's probably going to bounce you up in the air well above your enemies and allow you to escape danger and achieve heights above your enemies. You just won't be soaring continuously through the air like Harry Potter. Sorry, we can't mention that name on a D&D stream. I apologize. Rewind the tape 10 seconds. Thank you.
I think actually I want to try. I thank him, obviously. Oh, thank you. I think. Thank you for the sale. I think I'll look somewhere else, but I very much appreciate your discount.
Okay. I didn't want to show you this, but if you can scrape together 1,500,
and he kind of looks left and looks right.
I had this on layaway for another client, and they're gonna. He's the little vigilante type who thinks he's running around saving the city, but you seem to be a bit more reasonable.
And he walks you over to a shelf wall of merchandise, and he kind of reaches his fingers between some cracks. You hear something click, and he pulls it away, and you see that there's this big black cloak spread out up against the wall, and it looks like a bat, right? It looks like bat wings. And he kind of takes it off, and he holds it up, and he kind of flicks it up in the air, and you see a little bit of magic out of his fingertips, and it goes rigid, right? And it looks like a little hang glider shape, and it kind of floats down into his hands.
It's not the cloak bat, and I'm afraid it requires a little bit of either some way to get yourself up in the air. But once you do get yourself up in the air, this will allow you magnificently.
I thank you. I think this will be quite acceptable, and I'll take out 15,000 gold and give it to him.
You have 15,000 gold?
I have 200,000. I have 2,000 gold, I think. Yeah. 2,100 gold.
And you've got the bat glider cloak.
All right.
So basically, once you start to fly, you'll lose 10 feet for every 100 feet that you move forward. So,
all right.
It's effectively allowing you to feather fall and glide. Feather fall
has that gust.
You're gliding.
Wait.
Yeah, you're gliding. So, you know that if you're falling too quickly, though, you're looking at this and you have the good sense to ask him, if I'm falling at a high rate of speed and I open this up and I activate it, what's going to happen? And the guy,
that would depend on how strong the muscles in your arms are and how strong the ligaments are before they get ripped clean off. And it's deploy early rather than later.
And it gives you a
Fair
little
enough.
thumbs up, takes your 1,500 gold from you, and gives you this bat glider cloak and a lovely Gnome Depot bag. All right. Everyone's got weird magic items. Ivan, you've got 1,000 gold. You guys all step out of the shop of Gnome Depot, and looking down the causeway of the market, you can see that there are a number of other shops nearby. Plunder Armor is next door, and you see that there's a large, heavy-set human who's hawking out in front of Plunder Armor, and he says, "Yeah, come on in. The best offense is a good defense." And you see a little bit further down, there's a Fairy Queen. You see a little sign underneath that says "Enchanting Eats Enthralling Treats." There's Skull Share a little bit further down the way, and you can see that there are a number of skeletons right outside the building that are on chains that are kind of generally lurching at people as they walk by, but they're chained up. So, yeah. And there are more shops in either direction. Those are just the three that you can see.
I spent all my money on the sweet blunderbuss. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Me too.
Very good.
Is there
So
a map store?
Is there
Is there a
map
taxi stand?
store? A taxes stand?
A taxi stand or
Oh,
a
a
horse
taxi.
rental?
Taxi stand. Let's see here. There's
Horse rental.
yeah. Let's see here. There's debtor help, where it looks like you can get undead servants, and then next door to that is better help, which it appears that the signage even looks the same. So it looks like it's like one company, and they've got both brands next door to each other. Better help does have some mounts. They've got some horses, some dogs, things like that. And then give me just a sec.
Should
Yeah,
only be
as you're
like a-
walking by, you see Hello Flesh, but those are all dead. Like they're all dead. Let me see here.
I just want to ride somewhere and then ride back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Is there a stable?
Well, there are rickshaws that are running around constantly that have like one of them is being pulled by an earth elemental. There's just this giant ball of stone and is pulling a cart behind it, and you can.
Is that going to be able to? Is that going to be able to take me outside the city?
Oh, you mean once you get out of Jazima's Bazaar?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you guys all want to leave? You guys are all ready to head back?
I'm ready.
Oh, I mean, I thought there might be, stables or transportation or something like that in the bazaar. But if not, we can leave.
Real
You
quick.
know that you're about to go back through a. Well, no, I suppose you could fit. Yeah, you could fit a horse. Yeah, there are. As you're walking around, when you get back to that stall with all the poop, you see that there are a number of merchants that are not only dropping off and picking up animals for pulling their carts, but there are a number of animals in a pen next to this establishment, and you can in fact purchase a horse from them if you want to.
I mean, I don't want to buy a horse. I just want to rent one for a few hours and talk to the knowledgeable stable hands there.
Within Jazima's Bazaar?
No.
Okay, so again,
We probably want to go back to the town and then
Yeah,
rent a
okay.
horse in our
Okay.
reality.
We are not only beating a dead horse in the game, but IRL. So you guys all head back. You go down the corner around at the T and past the poop place and go through all of the hang in a corridor between two shops and walk out into this magic shop of the gentleman at the Woadfall trade post. And you for the access to Jazima's Bazaar. He asks if he can see what magic items you purchased because he himself doesn't go in there all the time because it's rather expensive. And you guys head on out. There are, in fact, places where you can rent horses. You can also rent mules and goats, more kind of like beast of burden type thing. But lots and lots of utility and for rent, and for 5 gold you can rent a small chain of jennies that are all loaded with satchels and utility harnesses and whatnot.
I would like to talk to a competent stable hand or other professional in the transportation business.
Yep, that's me, Kirk. I'm very That's right. I know my business, I do. I know a thing or two about anything with hubs. I see you
Nice
haven't
to
got
meet
any,
you,
so
Kirk.
sir, I won't presume to know a thing about you. How can I help you?
Nice to meet you, Kirk. There's a particular location some distance outside town, but I don't know how far outside. And I use my magic to create a map of where I know the location to be, using
Now,
all
do
the
you
details
know-
that I have.
Do you know is, or are you using your magic to show him an image of the place itself?
So you seemed to say that I had seen the great trees.
So
Or-
you know it's got to be one of these 5 great trees.
Right, but I'll ask him. I'll say there's a waterfall near one of the great trees, and I will show him a picture of what I saw, in case he's seen the scene or there's any
Okay.
other clues that will help him know exactly where it is.
Sure.
And I'll ask him, "Do you know where this is? How far away is it? How much would it cost to rent a horse to go there and back? And how quickly could I do it?"
Okay. Make me check.
Amazing. Insight here. Flat 4.
Okay. Well, this guy, when you describe this place, he mutters under his breath. Sounds like Smuggler's Cove right there. I mean, the 10 gold, I'll tell you.
Smuggler's Cove sounds correct.
I knew.
It does seem to have been a
Everything my
site of
mother ever
some
said about
criminal
me was true. I'm
activity.
a fool. I'm a dead stick-headed fool. And you see him kind of wandering off, kicking himself.
I'd like to make it my passive insight is 10. Is he putting on a show?
Oh no! Even with your 4, he rolled a 1, so he rolled an 18 to history check to know the location, and so he knew it, and then rolled a natural 1 and immediately blurted it out. So he missed out on any opportunity to get money out of you to know the location. So you got extremely lucky. 2 rolls in a row.
My good man, could I have directions to Smuggler's Cove, which I could also, I'm sure, get from any of your competitors, as well as knowledge of how long it would take to get there on one of your horses and to come back again afterwards.
You see, he's actually he's like 10% about to cry, 10 his foot. He's a little frazzled, so make me a persuasion check with advantage. You're holding him over the fire with information you just got out of him. So persuade him with advantage.
15.
Okay, he's you mentioned that you could go to any of his competitors and say, "Fine, what do you think that kind of information would be worth to you at your immediate convenience?" And he kind of holds out his hand. You're going to pay this guy what you want to pay him.
You mean for the directions to Smuggler's Cove? I go to the next guy.
You walk over a little ways and you see that across the road and down a little ways, there's a guy is leaning over a farrier, and he's kind of critiquing the work that a farrier is doing to one of his horses. And you walk up to him and kind of turns his arms and says, "You're a funny little man, aren't you? What do you want?"
I say, "My good sir,
I'm no
what I would like."
Quit wasting my time and tell me what you want.
At this point, Crocular says, "I thought it was the business of the transportation professionals in this town to provide transportation to visitors. Was I incorrect in that assessment?
No, you're.
Is there in fact something else going on that I should be informed of?"
No. You hit the nail on the head. People show up to this place and in exchange for money provide goods and services. You have the lay of the land. Now, which good and or for you before I kick you on the hind and get you out of here?
I think I'm going to intimidate him by saying, "If you kick me on the behind, You will burn for eternity in a hell of your own making.
Okay, roll me that beautiful bean footage of intimidation.
He tried to intimidate me first. It's only a 10.
Yeah. So you see this guy, fingers
And two beefy boys.
step forward next to him. One of them's holding a very large set of iron tongs, and the other one has some sort of red hot brand in his hand. It looks like he was just about to brand a goat, and instead the man has a red hot branding iron in his hand, and the guy says, "All right. Seeing as how you've been so civil this whole time, I'll give you 10 seconds to get out of my shop before me and my mates make mincemeat out of you. 10, 9, 8,
And
7,
I
6,
say-
5. On.
And I
Do
say,
you say anything?
this has been my performance art piece of the day. And with a bow, I back away slowly.
All right, Clock, let's
Spit
get
on
out
the
of here.
ground
With a
big
flourish.
Big black. He's got some kind of chaw in his mouth, and he does a big black spit in front of you and says, "Lord, I."
And he kind of turns and
The
then
two guys go back to their
I go to the other guy and I give him 2 gold for the directions.
You see that he's
You
kind
don't
of
want to try
sitting
it
there.
third?
He's sitting there,
on his
fist
fist.
and his elbow on the stand, and he's kind of staring out, and he's like, and you see he kind of makes
Himself presentable.
and kind of tries to hold his head up and square his shoulders and claw back a little bit of dignity. And you put 2 gold in his hand, and you see a big show up on his face, and he
Sticks the gold in his pocket.
and he pulls out parchment, and he lays it out, and he kind of draws an X where the Woadfall trade post is, where you
But I mean, before that,
Shows you which direction
to go to follow the cliff.
before that, I want to know like how long this is going to take. Do I even have time before the ship leaves?
Yeah, he says that it's basically about an hour and a half trek to the place. So you guys come out of Jazima's Bazaar, and you notice. Sorry, I should have told you this. Give me just a sec. Let me check. Okay. When you guys step out of Jazima's Bazaar, you notice that the sun is a little bit lower in the sky, but you only like 2 or 3 p.m. You've got plenty of time. So you guys know that if you were to leave now, you would be able to make it back. You know, if nothing happened, if you had no side effects, you'd even be back by late dinner.
Great. I say, who wants to come with me to get some stolen goods? I haven't decided yet whether to keep it for myself or to give it to the victims of this criminal.
We should give it
sure.
to the
Sure.
criminal.
We don't really need more money, do we? I mean, we just need to find Dom de la Bramble Boo Brighton Bubble Fusen.
Well, it's better
We
for
should
somebody to get it than for it to sit there.
Officials.
Sorry, go on, Enian.
Maybe we should give the information to the city guard.
As you guys are
Station, you see an elven guard.
it's kind of storming towards you, and he points his finger at you, and he says, "You there? You match." Or,
Who?
sorry, he says,
You there. You match the description. Stand. Freeze.
And he is about maybe 6 from you, and is kind of pushing his way through a crowd to get to you. And you can see Crocular.
Yeah, I'm sorry, who?
He's pointing at the group of you, all of you.
Hmm.
And you see
Ivan instinctively
as he gets closer.
a few paces forward in front of everybody else.
As Ivan steps forward, you can see the look of surprise on the guy's face. Is like,
Yes, the big one. You freeze.
and he pushes through all the folks and comes up to you and says,
You explain yourself. Why are you interfering in the affairs of my men? This morning, you stuck your nose where it did not belong, outsider.
And he kind of stuck to you and is kind of what up against you and says,
You think you have the authority to stick your nose into matters of official import?
No.
Cohen sighs and says, "I'm gonna grab a beer. You want any?" Just generally to the people in the group.
Take your filthy
No,
blood
thanks.
from this place. You did not deserve.
and he kept
Okay.
I'm gonna.
around near you.
So Jim's gonna go up to the guy. Jim's gonna go up to the guy and say in Elvish, respectfully, your men weren't doing anything, and somebody needed to do something, and he's the one who did it.
I didn't do much. I've just been learning how to facilitate conversations from my group therapist, and it seemed like this lady and this goat man could use some of that.
Therapist. What are you talking about? This is not a place for therapy. A place of trade, commerce, and the king's justice.
What do you want me to do for you?
Stick your nose where it doesn't belong one more time, big boy.
And he kind of like throws his chin up at you.
And I will have you in irons before sundown.
We can leave.
Yeah, they're not gonna do anything, just like his men didn't do anything earlier.
Oh,
When you say that, you see that this guy's ears go red. He's got big go red. Hang on just one sec. I need to roll a die for that. Okay.
Cohen chuckles and like gives him a small thumbs up to Jim.
I'll throw down some intimidation on this guy. He's a chump.
I'll help with that. I'm extremely freaky looking.
So he looks at you, Jim. So you've already said in Elvish, well, your men weren't really doing anything, and you've made that allusion a couple of times. You see that he flinches. He almost reflexively backhands you. Are you a human or an elf?
Yeah, human.
You're human.
I'm being
yeah.
very insulting.
Yeah, he reflexively almost backhands
Badly
you.
speaking his language. Whoop.
It's better of it. And he says,
More than welcome to join the men whose duties were derelict in their punishment and reorientation. Would you like to crack rocks for several?
Why would we? We actually did something.
Unlike your men. You've pushed this guy.
I'm gonna go.
Ivan is walking away.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Ivan is walking away.
And I'm just going to walk away from that guy too. I walk away with him.
Be a reflex saving throw as this guy reaches out to snatch
dexterity
at your collar hastily. Reflex
dexterity savings. Is that going to be
dexterity saving throw? Sorry.
Okay.
I keep trying to do 3.5.
14. Yeah.
So he reaches out to snatch at your collar, and you kind of duck down and sidestep it, and kind of give him this wry little shrug, and you see that he wants to go after you so bad.
When he's off balance a little bit after trying to grab Jim's collar, a mage hand is going to just give him a little push from behind. I can do mage hand without making any kind of spell, and my mage hand. I'm telekinetic. My mage hand can do this, and my mage hand is invisible. He just gets a little push.
Yeah. Push from behind, and he turns around and
There's nothing there.
Yeah, no, he turns around and thinks that one of you is behind him, but has into the crowd. So you see him turn and just charge off into the crowd, trying to find who pushed him from behind. He rolled. So you guys.
I was trying to make it look like he tripped.
Yeah, so you pushed him forward, gave him a good little shove, but Mage Hand only does 20 pounds worth of weight. Shove him
Mine can shove him 5 feet if I wanted it to, but I didn't want it to. But I have a defeat telekinetic, which lets my mage hand do stuff like this.
Okay,
But you could have. Everybody needs to know that.
I could have shoved him 5 feet, but I just wanted to get him off balance a little bit. But my mage hand is really strong.
Bet I could have shoved that elven guard.
But it's fine. It's fine. He doesn't have to trip. He can do what you said. It's fine.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys start heading west along the cliff face, and as you travel for about an hour, you hear some loud crashing sounds in the forest a couple of times, but you may hunker down and hold your breath. As you're getting closer, though, you see that there is a pack of what look to be some sort of monkey lemur-like things up in the cliff face, looking down over you. Anybody who has nature, this would be a great time to make a nature check.
The same thing the stone mantles were eating, or are we?
It does. It looks like they're these Hadzu type creatures who look like something a cross between a giant
20.
lemur and a flying squirrel.
Yep. I got a 20.
A 20. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So
Dirty.
you figure out you recall in your mind the battles with the stone mantles, and you see that these Hadzu are getting very territorial, and it looks like some of them are on the edge of the cliff and they're baring their teeth at you, and it looks like they're about to try to jump off and start swooping around and attacking you guys, but you cup your hands over your mouth and you start making these weird popping and screeching sounds that are reminiscent of the stone mantle noises, and they scatter. These things absolutely scatter crevices and cracks in the rock, and you guys are able to get by. I think that's the second time you made a really good check to deal with these things. Wasn't it you last time? When you guys had left the...
I can't remember. It was either me or Pone, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It might have been Pone. Anyway, managed to Steve Irwin animal whisper these things, and you get to a point where you come over in the magnificent waterfall coming down, and you can even see sunlight cutting through it, and there's just huge, gorgeous, prismatic colors coming through the cloud spray, and down at the base you see large jutting stone pieces coming up out of the surroundings of the pool, and for sure this has got to be it. You guys charge forward, and you see this at the bottom of the pool is covered in kind of algae covered rocks. Anybody good ideas about how to search for these? Search for this treasure that's in this pool, or if you have any checks that you want to make, you guys let me know. How do you try to find?
Perception.
Okay. Roll me a perception check with disadvantage, because the and boiling, and it's very hard to see in this water.
10.
Okay. Yeah, so you get in there and you start turning over rocks, and a good 15 minutes goes by, and Inion's just out there searching and turning over rocks, and he hasn't found.
This sort of thing is really not my forte.
What is
Maybe I stand on the shore and I dig around with my mage hand, which can go 30 feet from me.
Okay. You can also make me a perception check with disadvantage.
All right.
tools do I
That's a
have?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you send your mage hand out, and your mage hand is kind of like scraping around and digging stuff, digging at rocks. Not able to be. Or wait, you have empowered mage hand, don't you? How strong is your mage hand?
Let me read this feat to you. I can cast Mage Hand without verbal or somatic components, and I can make the Spectral Hand invisible. As a bonus action, I can try to telekinetically shove one creature I can see within 30 feet of me. When I do so, the target must succeed in a strength saving throw. Remove 5 feet toward or away from you. A creature can willingly fail to save. So, it does not actually say that it increases the lifting power of the mage hand, so maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, no, but I would homebrew then that it can do fit.
Strong enough to shove a man 5 feet.
It's got to have more oomph to it. So I'm going to say that you've got 50 pounds worth of oomph to it.
It can also the creature can be moved 5 feet toward me, so it can pull
away.
as well as
it can
pushing.
pull or push. Okay, great.
If that helps.
So one thing that you guys, Crocular, make me just a straight up intelligence check.
Crocular's not smart. It's a 9.
9. Okay. All right.
I haven't
Well,
started
guys,
thinking.
I'll look. What exactly am I trying to find here? Can you show me a picture?
Yeah. Crocular has put up a big silent image of what he saw.
Okay.
Okay.
So everybody has seen the same thing that Crocular got from the thief's head.
Make me a performance check to show
your group
as accurately as possible what you saw.
Oof. 8.
Okay.
4 plus 4 is 8.
You guys have now seen an image of what it looks like vaguely, so you get some general idea of what to look for.
Okay. So can I kind of splash around in there, or whatever, and
You can.
use a luck
you can
point
make a perception check with disadvantage.
Can I use a luck point to make it without disadvantage?
You can.
So what is that? Just a straight d20?
Mm-hmm.
10.
10. Oh boy. Yeah. So you scrounge and splash and manage to turn over some of the same rocks that Enion turned over. So you guys have now double, triple, quadruple flipped.
We definitely
some
know
of
it's
these rocks.
not here.
Yeah.
All right, Ivan will go for it too.
Okay. Ivan, how are you doing this? Just getting in and rooting
Yeah.
around? Okay.
He also got a 10.
Okay.
I think you guys didn't check these rocks quite enough.
Ivan, make me make me a wisdom saving throw.
Twelve.
12. Yeah. So Ivan, you're in working your way around, and you start to notice that there's algae on some of these rocks, and there's algae, not the other. And so you realize that you and Enion and Jim have been flipping over a lot of the same rock. Problem.
Let's spread out and, well, are there any rocks with no algae on them or just a little bit?
As you
Pone
say
will
that
also
out
do a
loud,
look.
it kind of clicks, and you guys realize that as long as you don't look in the exact same place that you could be looking for rocks where the algae is disturbed. So the next person who makes a search check will not have to make it at disadvantage, but the only person who hasn't gone yet is Pone. So Pone, if you want to make a perception check at a straight roll instead of disadvantage, you can, thanks to Ivan.
14.
Very good. So as soon as Pone has kind of been standing there on the edge, just watching everybody. And he just kind of looks over to the left.
Skipping the
and
rocks
goes,
that we've already looked over.
You guys haven't come over here.
here. I don't see any of your big dirty boot prints, but that rock has been flipped already. I'm pretty sure it's over there. And Ivan kind of wades over and he grabs the boulder and heaves it out of the way. And sure enough, sitting right there at the bottom of the pool box that Ivan then lifts out. It looks like is in good shape. It's a little waterlogged. He kind of turns it on its side and a little bit of water is dripping out. But you realize you're having to grip this thing really hard. This is a heavy box.
Ivan tosses it to Crocular with no consideration
Crocular,
of Crocular's strength in comparison to his.
make a reflex saving throw.
You mean dexterity?
Yes, make a dexterity
Or
saving
strength.
throw, you cheeky little man.
Here's your dirty money,
you-
Croc.
You do as I intend,
Um,
not as I say.
I got an 8. Tell me if I failed.
You did.
You know what? Never mind. I don't care if I fail this. I get an 8 and it bounces
Oh.
off my forehead or whatever.
Well, not your forehead. You take
Your chest
3
crushing
points
your
of
spinal
damage.
column.
You take 3 points of
Yeah,
damage
that's
as a large cube slams into your.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
come on, catch it!
I pick it up off the ground and recast. What's the name of that spell that I have that I can cast whenever I darn well
False
want?
Life?
False Life. Yeah, I
Well.
just recast False Life, and the wound is filled up with like putrescent zombie.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Flesh.
you guys smell. Okay, so here's what happens. So Ivan tosses the chest to Crocular, who's standing on the edge of the pool. It hits Crocular in the chest, bounces off of him, lands on the ground, and a whole bunch of platinum ingots go scattering across the ground. And then you see this
Hey yo.
fetid, smelly spot on his chest that seals back up, and all of you get the putrid, gut-wrenching smell of roadkill for a split
Oh
second.
man, when you
and then
break
it
his
goes
skin,
away.
he smells like durian. Ugh.
He does. All of his neck.
That looks like your art. It smells like it,
Oh,
too.
it should be in claymation. Just
Just
like
Oh.
claymation.
I gather up the coins. I say,
Very
all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Looks like there are 13 ingots of platinum, and down at the bottom you see that in a little recessed part below the ingots there is a dagger. Everybody who walks over to this well, it's next to. So Crocular, you look down and you see that there is a dagger with metal that has this slight red sheen to it, and a hilt of black. Make me a pick, either an intelligence saving throw or a wisdom saving throw. Or wait a minute, what's your spell cast? Make me a charisma saving throw. Make me a charisma.
Oh, that's absolutely much better. $13.
Okay. So you go to this knife and you feel this incredibly just pleasant, slightly manic, slightly euphoric pulse in your body, and it almost takes control of your arm, and you find yourself reflexively, unthinkingly, unintentionally reaching down to grab the knife, and you manage to freeze your hand just above the hilt of the blade, and your hand is kind of trembling with the effort of restraint, but you pull it, regain control of your own body, and you realize that this dagger is cursed, and that had you laid a it would have had its way, imposed something on you. You don't know exactly, but you know that this dagger was trying to get the better of you.
Guys, this dagger is pretty cool, but don't touch it.
Why not?
Because he thinks
It's got like a kind of perverse power that's really compelling
You think
and
it's perverse?
interesting, but it probably would take over any of your minds.
yeah.
Well,
I
Let's
think they
go.
call it a curse, but it's really just a really advanced kind of aesthetic magic.
should we
Alright.
bury it?
I don't see why.
It seems dangerous to leave it just sitting up here.
Here, I have an idea. I'll take
It's
the
called
box.
Smuggler's Cove. People come here a lot, I think.
I'll
Sounds like a good
smugglers.
So I'm gonna take the box that all the ingots and stuff came in, and kind of scoop the dagger up with the box, and then lock it shut.
The dagger
Or
is
if it
still
locks.
embedded in the base of the box. It didn't pop out.
Oh,
of the box.
okay. It's still in the box. Okay.
Okay. Well,
I have an idea. This is what Crocular would like to do. I would like to. Are there trees around?
Yes, there are trees. About
Okay.
maybe a few hundred feet away is where the edge of the forest begins.
I have parchment and ink. I'll use one of my parchment pages to do this. I want to mage hand the box up into like the cleft of a tree, right? And I'm going to write on my parchment in common. Take this dagger if you're really evil.
wow.
And then I hang that parchment like on the box.
Well, like,
And then we can go.
That's some of your better art.
yeah.
I'll go with him.
I guess
Poen,
that works.
Or like only the most evil may bear this dagger.
That is more elegantly put.
So you guys,
Poen would like to stay back, actually. Once everyone else is gone, and I think he's gonna just up to the dagger thing and be like, and take the box. How big is the box actually?
okay, so first of all, let's back up. So you want to leave the rest of the group behind. So do you try to just tell everybody, hey, you guys go ahead, I'm going to stick around and whatever? Do you try to surreptitiously peel off?
I'm gonna say I kind of still want to see what Smuggler's Cove is about. Is that this, or did we already pass that? I don't.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting late. We should probably head back to the ship.
Fair enough.
We're at Smuggler's Cove, right?
We are. Wait,
Yes.
I thought there would be like smugglers here. Did I miss that part too?
Not always.
Typically,
I mean, Smuggler's Cove is not where smugglers live.
yeah,
That's
Smuggler's
fair, yeah.
Cove is
Hide
where
things.
smugglers deposit things
Meat.
for other smugglers to smuggle. So
Fair enough.
the gentleman that told Crocular where this location was rolled a 1. He critically failed to conceal information. So it's most likely that you guys were never supposed to know that this was actually Smuggler's Cove. You were at best supposed to just get directions to the place and have no idea what the significance was. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. No,
So Jim, you've said, I want to stick around. I want to see Smuggler's Cove. Jim has said, hey, it's getting late. Let's get back to the ship. What did Pone say?
I didn't realize. I thought there would be like smuggler people here. I was thinking that I could like sell the dagger, because if there are smugglers here, then they're probably evil. I could sell it to them, and then that would kind of deal with that. But if there are not any smugglers here, then I'll just go with the rest of the party.
Okay.
Is Poen saying that?
That's kind of his thought process. I think
Okay.
he'll briefly mention something about like if we find a smuggler, maybe we could sell it to him. I mean, they're pretty evil, so
Oh,
evil is as evil
I wonder
do.
if we could sell it at Jazima's Bazaar. There's a lot of shops there. Maybe somebody's in the market for a weird cursed
So you guys
dagger.
are having this conversation as Crocular is just climbed down from a tree.
No,
This-
he's like mage handing it up in the tree.
Sorry, he's mage handing
Yeah.
it up, way up into the top of the tree.
Mhm.
You mage hand it, and it's now out of sight, somewhere up in the crook of the tree.
But even Crocula thought it was perverse. I don't know. We should probably just leave it. It's unlikely
Fair.
anybody's gonna find it up in the tree anyway. I feel like it might be too dangerous.
All right. Pone kind of shrugs and just starts heading out to wherever we're going.
Yikes.
So we go back to the
So-
ship.
So you guys start. And Ivan,
You have this.
just tingling in the back. And Crocular, so do you. The two of you, like you didn't hear anything, nothing happened, but just your sixth sense goes off. And Ivan, you and Crocular turn and you see Neri climbing up this tree, this little, Ivan and Pone. Ivan and
Oh.
you turn your head around and
You both see Neri
climbing this
Oh no!
up to the place where
where Crocular just deposited this this dagger.
Neri's the little rat guy from the ship who took
Yeah.
the money I put down.
Mhm. You realize he's been following you.
You're not.
He's been
You're not-
following us.
I turn up to him and call. You're not taking that on Captain Graham's ship. You're gonna stay behind with that.
You see
Pone.
you see
Neri, his head whips over you at you in shock. And let's see here. By the way, I rolled for all of you guys. The two of you guys rolled natural 20s on that perception check.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pone turns to
Go ahead.
says, "Oh, let him have it. Ratfolk keeps. It's probably fine."
I don't want that on the ship if Crocular thinks that it's perverse.
He thinks it's cursed. He said it was just an interesting form of magic.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. If you think it's
Ivan looks
interesting.
back to see what Neri's doing.
You shouted at him, and then you're not taking that on the ship. And then Pone said, "Oh, let him have it." So once Pone said, Neri scampered up the rest of the way and kind of disappeared into the tree. So you got
see him.
he's presumably up in the tree, but you don't have visual line of sight on him right now.
Can I grab the box with Mage Hand?
I think you have to be able to see things to use Mage
Yeah,
Hand.
probably so.
Does it say
Description.
something that you can see or just within range?
Ivan, as he sees him disappear up, says,
I mean,
"What's his name again? Siri?
Neri.
Neri. All right, Neri. If you take that, think of that as a gift from the devil among us."
You're welcome.
Wait, you hear Neri say, "What? What?"
Crocula hears the word devil and turns around to see what's going on.
Pone just says, "You're welcome. Now can we please go? I need a nap." He says, "You're welcome to Neri," and then
So it's
So
okay.
I turn
Thanks.
around
Okay,
and
great.
I see a child reaching for this box with a cursed dagger in it.
Rat
So
King.
Somewhere up inside the tree,
Line of sight.
unless you make me a DC 16 perception check, is Neri in this box. And everybody, I'm going beat of time. Is anybody trying to like make a perception check to see him up in the tree? Is anybody trying?
Am I within 30 feet?
Ivan
Gave him
real quick. Ivan gave him a final warning.
yes.
Pone said, "It's fine. You're welcome to keep it." And Neri said, "Oh, great."
I know where the box is, right? I put it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Eldritch blasting the box.
Okay, so you Eldritch Blast at this thing. Let me see here.
Range is 120 feet. So it shouldn't matter how
Okay.
far I've walked.
All right, so you send an Eldritch Blast up into the tree, and you hear a roll me. Let's just do a luck check, and we'll see whether or not you hit this poor kid. Roll me a d20, and on a
I don't get to make an
16
attack
20,
roll?
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll. Well, it's random.
An attack roll on the
You're
box?
attacking at an area, so I'm going to say there's a 25% chance that you hit Neri, and a chance that you hit the area. So on a 16 through 20, you hit Neri.
I'm just rolling a d20?
You just roll.
You're just doing an area of blind.
Blind area attack.
12.
Okay, so you punch a hole through the canopy, and you hear Ratkin scream, and you see him fall out of the tree and land unconscious on the ground.
Poen
Ivan-
runs over and tries to help Neri.
Make me a medicine check.
All right. That'll be... Where's medicine? 15.
So Neri is you see that there's some blood trickling out of the side of his mouth. You realize this poor little guy is not big. He's not a sturdy creature, and he just fell 60 feet out of a tree. So he has taken more falling damage at original hit points. So he is in the process of internally hemorrhaging and internally bleeding to death.
So he climbed 60 feet up in the tree. I could only have put the box 30 feet up with my mage hand.
Sure, 30 feet. He's a tiny little rat, and he's got like,
Okay.
a wisp of toddlers can count to higher numbers than this guy's got hit points. So he is unconscious on the ground. It was a mercy that I didn't make him insta-dead. I figured that would be a little too cruel to say, nope, you killed him. Can't do no. So Neri is unconscious and internally bleeding to death, and will in the next few seconds, unless you guys.
Poen's gonna be like, come on, guys, someone help me here.
I'm gonna run over and help him try to stabilize him at least.
Okay.
So make me a medicine check.
Should I help Poen? Should I help you, or do you want to help me?
What do you have for medicine?
I'm at +0.
I'm a +1, so
All right,
if you
I'll
help me.
you. Yep.
All right. So the two of you, like Jim starts kind of feeling, or he finds a place where there's an actual open wound where he's bleeding out, and he, grabs some, a nice long piece of vine and, kind of ties a little tourniquet. Poen starts trying to, elevate his chin so that he can.
Oh wait,
still
I have a
breathe.
healer's kit. I forgot about this.
Oh, really?
That automatically stabilizes if I spend 1 use to stabilize a creature without having to make a check.
Nice.
Excellent.
Awesome.
You pull
So I will
out a
just
concoction
take
that slows his
one-
heartbeat so that he's not bleeding as profusely, and fights off further infection, impending infection, and stabilizes him. And you see his eyes kind of barely flutter open, and he looks up at you, Poen, and says, "I'm so sorry, Poen. I was just curious. I just help." And you see him just kind of pass out from the exhaustion of the trauma.
Poen sort of like sighs a little bit and says, look, all right, We'll get you back to we'll get him back to his place, his bunk, and then I can forget about all this, and everything's got back to normal. All right. And he sort of stands up and lifts Neri up and sort of puts him over his shoulder and starts walking back to the ship.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got this guy stabilized. You for him. I mean, the thing, he weighs like 20 pounds. So you basically strap him on your back like a toddler and start making your way back. Excellent. You guys get back to the ship and you see that there are lights on the deck of the ship. And there are some folks who are trying to save some coin and are eating their rations there in the ship, on the deck of the ship. You see that the bosun is standing on the ground at the foot of the gangplank leading up to the ship. And he sees you and says, "We're leaving in the morning, remember? All right, I want to see all of you bright and early. No stragglers, no stragglers. But welcome to eat with the crew or at any of these fine establishments here, but we will be leaving soon. In the morning."
Poen kind of ignores him and kind of gives him a half-hearted nod, and then just takes Neri down to that place where we were cutting onions before, or fruits or
Down to the
whatever. Yeah.
So a couple of as you get closer to the ship, you see that a handful of ratkin come out of the woodwork and take Neri from you and kind of carry him on their shoulders, and all collectively bear him away to tend to his wounds.
I'd like to follow them, sort of explaining what happened and trying to help.
Yeah, so they are really disappointed and almost just disgusted by Neri's behavior, that he would be sneaking around, leaving the ship, following you guys. Do you tell them about the dagger, about the cursed dagger?
Probably not, but I will try and somewhat defend his actions. Like, hey, he's not that bad. He's
Okay.
a nice guy.
Make me a persuasion check.
All right.
DC 13.
10.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, oh no, not his fault. And you see that the oldest of the ratkin gives you a very stern, sour look, and he says, "You mean?" Sorry.
You mean well, Master Poen, but we reckon we live by a code, and Neri has violated that. I am not entirely sure he is even still fit to serve on the Dancing Narwhal. We do not want him to upon the other ratkin on board.
Excuse me.
Well, what are you going to do with him?
Well, nurse him to health, obvious. Not going to punish him while he's on death's doorstep.
I see that he has been expertly staged, though, and he is already on the road to recovery. I thank you for your graciousness and your mercy towards him. Good sir. Please, you must excuse us.
And he steps backwards into a little, 2-foot tall door that leads into a very small room. You can tell that the ratkin have a couple of compartments in the ship. They're too small for any other sentient race, but because they're ratkin, they can use these small, odd-shaped corners. And so he kind of disappears into the woodwork of the ship.
All right.
Yeah. Very good. It is 8:50, and this is a good time to take our 10-minute break. So let's meet back up at 9, and you guys can tell me what you do with your final night here in the Woadfall Trading Post. See you guys in 10 minutes.
Oh, real quick, actually. What does the cloak I got again exactly?
A cloak of gliding. Feet forward you glide, you'll come down 10 feet. From whatever elevation you are, you can get a running leap and you will fly at 60 feet around and just kind of slowly drop elevation as you glide.
Nice. Kind of like the Tanuki suit from Mario.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed. Sarah Food.
All
See
right,
you guys
great.
in 10.
You can do it on the windup all day long.
What up, pumpkin people?
Hey, man.
What was Josh seemed to be talking for a while without any audio coming through? Was that
Oh, really?
When?
during the break? Just during the break, but you were like, maybe
Well, I
I
had
just
muted.
couldn't hear you. I don't. What were you talking about?
I was
Okay.
my coming birthday. Dad
and brother and
I are gonna take a guys trip sometime after my birthday, and we were gonna go to, but there have been a bunch of fires there, and we didn't really want to try to make it happen after all those
Bet you
fires.
there'll
So,
be available spots.
yep, that's true. But
Oh,
there are
man,
plenty of other places to go. And
there's a
this
really
way,
good
I don't
movie.
have to get my passport renewed.
Nice.
See,
It's a really good movie about smoke jumpers.
I'm not what you would call a functional. I don't know how to follow through on tasks. I have a chronic condition of forgetfulness. I drop the ball. So getting to not renew my passport would be really nice. Plus, I just want to go somewhere where it's pretty and there's good food. And Colorado and California have that. And it might be nice to like eat at a Michelin star restaurant and soak in a hot spring and maybe take a short hike to a scenic view. I think Colorado has all those things. For some reason, I'm just kind of a rat. I'm just kind of over California. I just don't even want to set foot there these days. And maybe that's just me getting old and prejudiced at the insanity of the
Might find that
West Coast.
Colorado's not that wildly different.
Well, I mean, inside of the Denver metropolitan area, Colorado's, a lot more like Georgia or Texas or North Carolina than California. But, it's like Texas, California is a, non-tangential extension of California, but the rest of Texas is still the rest of Texas. So it's the way of things these days. All right, so we're just missing a gem.
You're a gem.
Quit jimming the camera.
That was a cool entrance.
Thanks.
Rolling on.
I didn't hear Jacob or this guy here. Man, why can I not remember your name right now? I'm looking at your face. Jared. Okay. I didn't hear either of those voices, so I was like, oh no, they're not all back yet. And then when you said we're waiting for Jim, I was like, I'm back.
Hey everybody, let's play the name
I just
game
ran
so we
back
can
over
all
here.
get to know each other, where we all say our name and one fun thing about ourselves. I'm Josh, and I strangled a man. I haven't actually done it, but I did in a dream one time take a Glaudium and slowly drive it into the chest of a man who was trying to kill a woman and a little girl in a park. And I woke up in a cold sweat and was messed up for the whole day. Really fully had to process all the emotions of murdering a man with my bare hands. It was very intense. I've never had a dream like it. Thank the Lord. That was a hard day.
That sounds
Isn't that
useful.
crazy? Isn't that crazy that we can do things like that in a dream and normally we wake up and just bounce it off and it's just nothing? The mind is a fascinating thing.
It's like preparing your mind for action. I've had some I think of them as training dreams that God gives me, where it's like it's usually, it's like as a dream comes when there are many cares. It's usually that kind of dream.
Hmm.
And I'll be in this situation that I don't have where I don't know how to make a good choice in it. And I'll like go through the situation and make some bad choice and then run through it a few times and like try to find a better choice. And it's usually hard.
So you're basically doing the Golden Man move, the Nick Cage movie where he plays a guy with future ability, future sight, and he can step off in different. I know, Matthew, we can play D&D.
Huh.
That's a Philip K. Dick short story.
Philip K. Dick.
Nice.
There you go. The Golden Man. What is it?
Yeah, you should read it.
Anything.
By the way, Dwight, you're really quiet, so I don't know if you can.
That's just a Philip K. Dick story.
Dwight, I think you're ready to be an old man who refuses to wear his and just shouts things as contributions to the conversation. You're going to be in your prime when you get to you're like 88. Dwight's going to hit his prime. All right, let's play some D&D. So, welcome back, dear friends, to the part 2 of session 11 of the Starfall Collective. Odyssey. When last we met, Pone had deposited the almost but not quite lifeless body of Neri to Neri's fellow Ratkin crew members of the Dancing Narwhal so that he could be nursed back to health. And the rest of the party sees Pone. How much of this is kind of on your Pone? If someone were to see you walking down the gangplank leading from the Dancing Narwhal to the dock side on the ground of the Woodfall trading post, what would they see on Pone's face? A look of a man compartmentalizing and moving forward?
It is very clear that he is trying very, very hard to stay calm about everything that has been happening for the past 3 days. So, yeah.
It has been an intense 3 days. So all of you guys kind of come face to face with each other. Pone walks up and sees Inion, Jim, Ivan, and Crocular all kind of having a they're going to eat and sleep for the night. The camera is just on all of you kind of standing around, processing the evening and figuring out what you're going to do next, knowing that you're leaving in the morning.
Let's eat and sleep here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to use this cool boomstick I got.
Nice.
And I'd probably just eat on the ship and be here so that I don't miss the boat.
Excellent. So this isn't the United States of America. There are no municipal laws about when and how you can discharge a firearm. So, Jim, you walk up, get yourself a bowl of some stew that a couple of other crew members are more to share with you. You know, you're a bit of a minor legend on the ship because you were the one who put to sleep the big alpha that came crashing down onto the ship, and everybody knows it. Your appearance is wildly dissimilar from your reputation, and they're happy to share a meal with you. And you slurp down some gruel and step over to the edge of the ship, and you see a number of birds that look like geese nesting in some of the trees nearby. So if you'd like, feel free to make me an Arcana check as over the course of about an hour, make me an Arcana check and a Wisdom check, if you would.
Arcana is going to go 20, dirty 20.
Wow.
Wisdom is probably not going to go that way.
Okay, make it with advantage. You got a 20 on that Arcana, so
yeah.
Make that check with advantage.
11.
Okay, so with an 11, you're studying us, and you see a slot for a
Mhm.
and you.
Can I fit that
You're kind of-
spyglass on it?
I was just gonna say,
Oh,
11. I can't help you at all, but you're like,
Eyeglass?
and you realize with a 20 Arcana check over the course of this hour, while you are attuning to this gun, you realize that with a very simple bit of tinkering, you could get the scope to mount to the top of the gun. And so there's already a place that's kind of receptive to it. And there are a couple of crew members who see what you're doing and are and they, you're able to explain to them, I need a couple of rings because you pop out the telescope, and it's got
Mhm.
different distinct sized pieces, but each of them have a slight conical shape to them. They're not perfect parallel, they're conical. Manage to explain and describe to a couple of crew members what you're looking for, and they bring over pieces that they get out some knives, and some of these guys are really, really expert carpenters because they have to do all of the repairs. You're looking around at it while they're working, and you really take it in, and you kind of have a little bit of awe and respect for how everything is now that you really look at it. Anything that has a certain thump and you realize it's pretty thin. Any supporting member is very expertly. At the end of it, they've made these rings for you that they have then pinch in on the side, so it's got this firm grip. So you pull out your gun and you shoulder it, and you're looking through this. You suddenly start to get this kind of weird feeling in your belly button, and it's almost like there's running from your belly button spine to the back of your eyeballs, and it's kind of a little bit of a vertigo feeling as something is. You're trying to not lose your balance, you're trying to not throw up, you're trying to not stumble forward, something like that, but in the magical realm. A wisdom saving throw as you point.
Oh boy.
Gun at one of geese in the tree and pull the trigger.
I think it might be time for me to try to get lucky. Let's see. Where's my lucky points?
What did you roll?
Oh, I haven't rolled anything yet. I'm just gonna.
Oh, okay.
Let's
All
see.
right.
I can choose to spend my luck point after I roll the die, so I'll just roll it first, and then if I don't like it, I'll. You said wisdom saving throw?
Yeah, wisdom save.
I don't like it. All right, let's see. Okay, that's somewhat better. 10.
So with a 10, you pull the trigger, and it's like time slows down. You feel the energy of the gun, and you feel this kind of almost like a gravity well through the looking glass, and you realize you can either do something with the looking glass itself, or you can fire the gun, but you're going to have to make that decision in a split second. So you've got 3, 2.
Fire.
Okay. Yeah. So the gun goes off. Roll me a attack roll.
All right. With is that like a spell attack or?
So you're going to make a ranged spell attack. Yes. So you're going to roll a d20.
Spell attack is plus
proficiency
7. Okay.
Bonus, and then your deck.
19.
So you drop this goose, and you see it come crashing out of the tree.
Nice.
Where it lands on the ground with yourself, and then you see that the goose has landed next to a campfire, and it has landed on a figure in a sleeping bag, and you hear a cry of pain and frustration, and a bunch of small figures in
very dark clothes. It's getting the sun is setting, so down at the forest floor it's very dark, but it looks like they're wearing like black kind of. You see little glints of metal. So they are really confused and are trying to peel this goose off of this guy, and you're looking down at. Wait, is that a goose the size of a Tyrannosaurus? Are those all children? I mean, you can't quite tell. It looks like the size.
What's up with the perspective? Yeah.
These people is way off. You don't know what's going on.
I guess I'm gonna peek through the spyglass and see if I can get a better sense of scale.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
Whether the guys are small or the goose is big.
Yeah, so you point it down and you're pointing it at this goose and these guys, and you see that these are halflings wearing black leather that's studded with metal. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh man. 4.
Okay, yeah. So the gun off, but you don't even have your finger on the trigger, and it's not the gun, it's this.
The spyglass?
Yeah, it's like the spyglass. One of these halflings, and you make me a perception check.
Oh man, also terrible. Perception, where is he? They're in alphabetical order. Okay. 7.
7, yeah. So you're looking through the spyglass, and you blink. You feel something click inside of you, and in a moment of horror you realize that you've set off the spyglass. Like the spyglass is a magic item and you just set it off, and you open your eye a split second later and the halfling is gone.
Oh man, how many more are there down there?
More.
3 more.
Yeah, and in fact, holy cow, I just realized something. I apologize, give me a second. Okay, let me think. Trying to do this right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you realize in a split second, you open your eyes and they're just all gone. All of them.
Oh,
like
all of
the
them.
halflings are just gone.
Man.
And it's just a dead goose laying there next to the fireplace. Yeah.
Oops. So I don't know. The device doesn't specifically say I know how to read where they go, but I can reset where they go.
You can. Yeah. So you haven't. So don't disregard that. You actually don't even know any of that stuff. Right.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know what? I take.
I figure I have to tune to it by then. Yeah.
You got a 20 on your Arcana check.
Mm-hmm.
Into it, and that is very significant. I'm being the DM and I'm cheating a little bit, but dear listeners, if you'll go back to the moment that activated his Ulka. I can't remember her name is, but when Ivan first activated his axe, there was a similar event. So, Jim, with a 20, you not only attuned to this item, but you, through some of your time in your training to be an orderly and actually learning something, how to at least use a lot of the magic items that are involved in therapy, you learned a lot of the basic runes that are universal, even mission of magic, but you specifically recognize some gnomish runes. And you realize that you have pretty much figured out how to change a number of these cylinders to make the sigils match up to similar to a teleportation circle, but it's different because instead of one, it's multiple locks, and it has something to do with kind of aiming them. You haven't done it yet, so you don't have a good sense of it, but you're pretty sure that if the sigil, a dungeon or a place
that was linked to this, that like a kind of a purpose book match to the ritual, that you could even maybe like look and figure out how to make that work. But yeah, right now looking at it, you see that it is on like default or random. You don't know ancient gnomish arcane symbols fluidly. You're not a wizard, but you that setting and they've disappeared, so you don't know.
Oh man.
But it is all, look around and you realize that there were 4 or 5, you can't quite tell, you're trying to, I don't know, it was the heat of the moment, I only saw him for a sec, but there were 4 or 5 of these guys that just disappeared, but the goose is still there.
Okay, I think I would probably write down the setting that it was on at this point, just so I could hopefully find them at some point.
Okay. So yeah, the guys that are standing next to you, that see you take this shot, they're kind of congratulating you, and they're going, "Whoa, that was awesome!" And one of them, even immediately before even the stuff with the halflings, he's like, I'll go get it. Come on." Guy, and it's just you and one other guy, and he's looking down there, and he's looking at you, looking through the scope, and suddenly over at him, and you see that the blood has drained from his face, and he looks at you with horror, and he just runs away. And he doesn't run down below decks of the ship, he runs off the ship and just is full bore away from you.
Wait, what happened? Like, what?
You can make me a persuasion check.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I'm just calling after him, like, hold on, what happened?
Yeah. Persuasion with disadvantage.
Let's see. Ooh, 9.
Sorry, I have
either
wild
way.
animals fighting in my room now, so I've got to kick them out. I apologize. Hold on. All right, boys. You got to take the Thunderdome outside. All right. I apologize. The boys wanted to have WWE.
Yeah, I didn't actually see what happened.
So this guy is running away with disadvantage. You try to call out to him to stop, and you get a
9,
and he just doesn't even slow down.
He's like, nope.
You see him just disappear into the crowd.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, my eyes were closed at the moment that happened, so I don't know what's going on.
Indeed.
Nobody else is around. I could say, did you see that?
Yeah, so you're walking around.
The group that was there is gone.
You see, you ask a few people, and they're like, "Yeah, we saw you make that shot. You got that good, great shot." And they kind of congratulate you, and you realize that who just ran off into the crowd, he's the only one who actually saw what happened when the telescope did something.
All right. Well, I'm assuming he's going to come back to the ship at some point. I'll
try to pump him for information.
Put a pin in that. But meanwhile, I definitely want to record what the setting is on the thing, because I don't want to lose those guys.
Okay. So that'll be easy, because it's like when all the pins line up in the kind of the center position, that's like the universal, like it's kind of like the symbol for root, sphere, and eye. So the default settings of root, sphere, and eye. And you know that the that's where the halflings got sent. Now, make me an intelligence check.
That I can do. Oop, where'd it go? Wake up.
DC 15.
16.
16. With a 16, you realize if they are inside of somewhere and you use this thing
Mm-hmm.
and something else goes in there,
Then, yeah, I might be able to figure out where they are, but how do I get it out? is the question.
that is a very good question, because even with a 20, you do not know how to get stuff out of this. A 20 gave you maximum possible kind of deduction, inference, insight into how this thing works one way, because the controls to do that are right corners. But the other way, you realize, in the same way that it requires some kind of magic, something like a teleportation circle to reassign the dungeon, the target, it's going to take another set of magic to get stuff out. And you don't even have a way to infer that right now. So, yep.
Sorry, dudes. Hopefully it's not a terrible dungeon.
Thanks for shooting those halflings, LT. That was a really swell thing for you to do.
I really appreciate that. All right, so we cut
There's a bunch of
Ivan, Popular, and Pone, and Inion. Are you guys getting up to anything? Is there anything else that you want to do in town when the ship leaves?
Yeah. Crocular's gonna go real quick and find the people whose village was burned down, the refugees from the village that got burned down by the bad guy whose treasure he took. And Crocular's going to give him the money. Bunch of platinum ingots. One for each family whose house got burned down by this jerk.
So you present this money to these guys, and they are absolutely floored. A lot of them are like passed out in the corner because they've been drinking to escape their sorrow. They're homeless, their families are dead, they're destitute, really fully
And gave up.
But the few who are only depressed and are sitting there, in their stupor, drink will they receive this from you, and they immediately start waking everybody up and saying, "We're saved! We're saved! We're rich! We can buy a castle! This is platinum!"
I tell them this. You actually have a really big problem. Somebody thought it was worth a huge amount of money to burn your houses down. I'm leaving, but you should spend this in a way that makes you safe. I don't know why somebody thought it was worth this much to burn your houses, but it's probably not good for you. Bye.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple of times, that, this is dangerous. Somebody wanted you gone, so you need to be.
There's a woman in the
group, kind of her eyes narrow, and you realize she hasn't been drinking nearly as much as the others, and she says, "Oh, we know what happened. That Baron wanted us off of that land. That Baron had his own designs, and he didn't think that the fact that our family generations meant to smudge in the dirt." And she kind of spits into the corner, and she says, "Oh, you trust me, sir. We're getting as far away from him as we possibly can." Then you see another couple of them sticking their heads together, holding the money. Do you know how many mercenaries we could hire with this? Revenge on the Baron. We could have his throat slit in his own bed. And then an older kind of, the old
patriarch of what's left
of this group kind of leans in and says, "That ain't no way to be spending what little hope we've got left. We need to take this, go buy good land where we can do what we know, good things." and you see that there's a bit of a among them as to whether they should take their revenge upon the Baron with this money or try to just go live a simple life. Crocula get involved in that? Does he give his 2 cents, or does he just kind of put his hands up and back away?
Crocula doesn't know about this stuff. He gives him the money, gives him his warning, and goes back to the ship. Peace.
Excellent. I just need to write down a note. Oh gosh, refugees. Very good. Thank you. Okay, excellent. So you give this 1,300 gold worth of platinum these refugees and head back. And as you're heading back to the ship, they were in a lower class, lower repute, cheap place on the edge of town, and you see that the street ahead of you just kind of chock-a-blocked with a couple of carts that have been backed into it. So you actually kind of walk out of town and walk along the edge of town because it's not that much farther and it's no traffic. And as you're walking, you see this really huge raven. Ravens can be really big, but this thing looks like it's the size. And it caws at you, and you freeze for a second and you look up at it because you realize that it sounded like a caw, but it sounded like a caw that a person made as a sound. And it kind of tilts its head at you and stares at you. And then you see it throw back its head and it starts to laugh. And it's makes this kind of cawing.
That was funny. You're funny.
I'm sorry, is this Crocula who's having this happen?
Crocula is seeing a 3-foot tall raven in a branch, on a branch about maybe head.
Okay.
Feet away from him. And laughing and saying, "That's funny, you're funny." And it says,
It's like a cat. Tap dancing.
Crocula says,
Singing.
indeed, for an elf to be making art.
so, and the thing just kind of laughs and does, and then flaps off into the night. And
By
it swings back around and lands on the branch and looks at him and says,
Did you say it?
I said, you are correct. It is just as strange for an elf to make art as for a cat to tap dance.
the thing kind of pivots its head.
Does the fool make art every time he farts?
No, more's the pity.
It kind of turns its head at you and looks at you, and you see it kind of cock its head up, and then it looks at you side-eyed, and it says,
She chose poorly. Ha! Ha! More's the better.
and then it flaps off into the night.
I would like to try and figure out whether this was a visitation of my patron.
Make me a religion check. Actually, you know what? Don't roll anything. Let me roll, and I'll tell you what you know.
Nice.
Yeah, so you know that your patron likes to use, somewhat absurd things like that. So yeah, you know, about art, it has given you this, you know, almost nonsensical gibberish that's meant to really kind of provoke you and make you be thoughtful more than convey. So yeah, your patron has, you know, provoked you. You know, it's an honor. That means that you must have done something interesting, right?
I go to bed.
Anybody else doing anything in town for the rest of the night? This
Nope.
is your last chance to juggle geese.
Goslings.
To juggle goslings in town.
I only juggle cat.
Well, let me see. I can make a luck check here. It's going to be a difficult one, but on an 18 or higher, 10. Nope, sorry, they don't juggle kittens here. I'm sorry, Anion. We'll have to look for that. All right. It sounds like everybody's shacking up, heading to bed, waking up with a full belly and a good night of sleep. I'll come aboard the Dancing Narwhal. Everybody, Pone, make me a Constitution saving throw.
$22 natural.
Yeah. So that night you have this dream. Neri standing on the edge of a cliff, and you just kind of push him off with your hand. You turn around and just walk away, and the dream just ends. It's just over. And you kind of wake up, kind of not kind of preternaturally calm, and you lay back down and go back to sleep, and it's a very odd moment. But all of you awake. Ivan, to remember that you had some sort of dream about a raven last night. Roll me a wisdom saving throw. Or you know what? Let's make this an intelligence saving throw. Remember the facts of your dream. You are muted, sir.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. Yeah, you remember that you had a dream about a parakeet last night, or like a macaw or a peacock, or it was some sort of weird bird like that. Very good. So you got to the dancing, prancing narwhal, and you Jim, as you look down over the edge of the ship, you see you see 4 more geese, all kind of waddling around in circles, kind of like pecking at the ground around the area where that campfire was. And you see those geese are just kind of milling, making me a nature check.
$19.
Yeah, it looks like they're not. If they were foraging, you'd see them like eating stuff, but it looks like they're literally like sniffing the ground and just sniffing around, kind of obsessively.
Why are geese sniffing?
So, all of you tend to your duties because you guys all contributed so much in the most recent fight, and you don't really know the procedure for leaving dock. The captain just has all of you kind of stand in a central area where you're out of the, and the crew all, you know, perform specific maneuvers to like gain altitude quickly. And everybody's flying around doing their part like a well-oiled Swiss watch, and the dancing narwhal majestically crashes through the low-hanging morning clouds, cuts through the lower canopy, and rises up above the great fort of the great trees in the distance. That canopy.
And all of you have a bit of a thrill in you because you realize next stop is the Arcanium. Graham walks
Right.
all of you and says, "As a sign of respect to Brick and Rock and as a appreciation for all of the excellent haul that we brought in previously, I've decided to skip all but the most necessary of duties for the Dancing Narwhal as we even called in a couple of favors. I've got a couple of other hunting ships sort of pick up the slack for the territory that we make a good clip through. And, the towns, they rely on us for protection, so the duty must be done. But they owe me plenty of favors, and we'll be able to make good time, I think. So, should be within about a week, depending on the winds, and no stops or should be at the Arcanium pretty soon. Very excited for you boys. I don't know what your business is there, but if you've never been, it's pretty jealous, to be honest.
Thank you. Appreciate the speed.
Anything for my friends? Anything at all? You boys sit tight. And he goes off and starts barking orders. And the book. I mean, you guys are making really great speed. He kind of opens up the taps on the arcane engines and really asks the elementals inside to, really give it their best oomph. And we see the forest just kind of rushing by for the most part for day after day. You guys are you realize that you have peeled away from the wall of the cliff face. You are now several kilometers out the forest area, and the density of the great trees is greater. And in fact, you even fly over a where it seems like you're flying over a finger of contiguous old growth great tree forest. And the ship has to really to get over. You guys are kind of cruising, avoiding the trees and weaving between the through the valleys of the mountain range. But you guys climb over, and below you hear some sounds that are very different, very disconcerting. It sounds like a great clicking and whirring, rustling, but of this just immense being. And Captain Graham throws on the gas, and you guys just kind of shoot over the trees and fly past it. Everybody kind of holds their breath, praying that nothing happens, that nothing attacks them, and you manage to get through. A couple of days later, you are traveling, and Ivan, you're and Jim, you guys, the two of you see it first because are staying out ahead. And Jim, you're kind of up there taking a nap with your gun kind of cross folded over your chest. And see a ship up ahead. And you see, and you call it out, but then a split second later, you call, no, it's ships. That there is some sort of elven small battleship, small of pirate ship that seem to be bow to bow with each other and are have kind of are kind of twisting slowly while they move. So you don't know if they're stuck to each other or if one of them just rammed the other, but you can see that they're making this slow rotational movement as they see. It looks like there might be something wrong with one of the two ships. They are starting to lose a bit of altitude.
How far away are they?
They are probably 1,000 feet away at this point.
Get us closer.
Okay, Anion, you tell me what's the max range on your bow?
600.
600. So when you get within 600 feet, Jim, you pull out your spyglass and you see that in fact there are a mostly elven, but it is somewhat mixed. It looks like there are also some humans on the crew as well, but mostly elf military crew. And you see that there is a pirate ship, and you see all sorts on there. It looks like it's mostly humans, but you see a couple of half orcs, and you see a bugbear, and you think you might even see like an ogre or a troll or something like that. And you see that they are trying to throw like grappling hooks over. They're trying to push ladders over, and the elves have their own like poles with little U-shaped things on them, and they're doing the best to push it off. And right now, the elves are being slowly pushed back, and the pirates are just beginning to make some headway trying to board the.
Do I have a sense of if the captain is gonna be getting us involved in this? Or are we
You
just gonna move
see,
on?
you see that Graham is pointing straight ahead and is calling for full speed. So Graham is trying to get close.
Okay,
You know,
I'm gonna.
but he doesn't have a spyglass in his hands, so you realize he doesn't know what's going on yet. But he has called for the.
I can
cabin boy
report
to
what
bring him a
I'm seeing.
spyglass.
Okay, I would tell him it looks like there's pirates boarding that ship. Are we gonna deal with them, or is that our business to deal with?
He says,
If we abandon the warship gathered or we are identified, there could be severe punishments. The Elven Empire would put a profound bounty upon us. We would
All right.
fire a few shots at the pirates so they would say that we tried.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna. I think prior to getting in Indian's range, I would probably be able to hit him with the spyglass. Can I just kind of set a random rune to it, or do I need to like on my spyglass, or do I just need to leave it where it is?
runes, you would have to. It takes time. It takes a ritual. So
okay. All right. Then I'm just gonna leave it where it is.
You know.
Hopefully those halfling guys can take care of themselves.
Yeah, so Enion, I'm going to say that your spyglass works at a range of... I need to put something... So let's call it 500 feet, because there are a lot of other spell effects that are 500 feet. So before you fire it off, Enion, you get a extreme range shot at these guys. Attack roll.
I'm just aiming at a big clump of people.
Okay. It would be hard to miss where there's a big troll and a whole bunch of pirates around it. What was your roll?
27.
You know
Isn't
what?
extreme range you roll with disadvantage?
Yeah, you do roll with disadvantage.
So not a 27, a mere...
Oh, Matt, you terrible person.
Wow.
Eesh.
Well, all of our earballs hurt just as much as Dwight's soul.
How far below us are they?
They're not below you. They are.
Oh.
It looks like they were cruising at a higher altitude than you, and they're in the process of coming down. So you guys are currently kind of climbing a little bit up and forward to kind of intercept where it looks like they will be by the time you get closer to them.
I have a quick question. Has it been multiple days since we left, or only one day?
No, it's been multiple days. You guys are
okay,
about
perfect.
5 days, 4 or 5 days out from
amazing
the Woadfall trading post.
I don't think it would be possible to use my like gliding cloak to glide over there, right?
Yeah, they are above your level, so you couldn't get there yet. But it does look like they're climbing. It looks like your ship is climbing, and it looks like you guys are trying to get up above so that you can then do a bank and do kind of like a banking motion. As soon as you get high enough, you would be able to use your cloak and Tanuki over if you want. Dwight, you can make me 6 before everybody else, or 4 more shots range. So make me 4 more shots with disadvantage.
I've got 120 feet of Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so your Eldritch Blast and the harpoons are just about to come online as soon as Dwight makes these
Also-
3 attacks with
13.
disadvantage. 13 to hit.
I've got 150 feet on another spell.
What was the second one, Dwight?
11,
11 does not hit.
17.
Hits. So your 2 of your hits do damage. Roll me the damage. Or you know what? Don't worry about it. You're gonna tell me that damage at the beginning of next week. Well, actually, no. I guess Matt's about to do something too, and here before
I
we
also
get
wanna
into
banish
engagement
somebody.
range. Matt, you said you've got Eldritch. Do
I have something else that happens at 150 feet, and then I
Then
have
do that
Eldritch
first.
Blasts starting at 120 feet.
do your 150 feet. Hang on, put a pin in that, Jim. What are you trying to say?
I
Your
just wanted to
spyglass?
eyeball the guy.
Oh, that's
at-
right.
At 500.
Sorry, at 500 feet. Yeah, so Matt, you'll do yours in just a sec. I do need
Whatever
to
the
do
biggest
this
guy
first.
is.
So yeah, so you aim it at the troll. Make me a Arcana check.
So it on the thing it says they have a saving throw of some sort. But should I do
Oh,
Arcana?
right. Sorry. You're right. Okay. What does it say the saving throw is?
It doesn't say what the saving throw is, but just that it's using my
So
DC 15.
okay,
It's a
so
DC 15 something.
Yeah, so
It doesn't
they're gonna
actually
make a
mention
DC
what it was.
15 check.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So you pointed at this troll, the real big one, and
Mhm.
zot, the troll just disappears.
Okay. Did I see anything weird happen when I did that?
So when you kept your eyes open this time,
Mhm.
you basically you don't hurt yourself, you don't permanently blind yourself, but
Mhm.
you do kind of wince back and jerk your eye back from the spyglass as a really profound like it's like looking down a laser. Like you get this
Mhm.
really bright flash of a concentrated pinprick of energy, of magic energy, and now that your eyes are open while it's happening, it's a split second. I mean, it is a split second. Make me a perception check.
Pretty low. I'm gonna re-roll that with one of my lucky points.
Okay.
8. Come on. 8.
8 on the reroll.
Yeah. It was 2 on the roll.
Yeah, you're kind of disoriented for as you just saw something, but that arcane flash that went into your eye made you, it literally like scrambled your brain a little bit, made you forget what you just saw.
Oh.
Excellent.
Blink when I do that.
You can do that. I'm going to say that disorients you, so you can only do that one more time.
Okay.
At one of the bigger ones, like the bugbear,
Yeah,
one of the
that'd be good.
half-orcs. The bugbear.
The bugbear.
Okay. So let's see here.
DC 15.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. You see the bugbear and 3 pirates next to the bugbear. All bear like reaches out at with its arms wide at a moment, and it's like yelling, trying to be some other guys in front of it, and it kind of accidentally up in his arms as it disappears. Now you can make me another perception check to see if you can actually see what's
I'm
happening.
really trying hard to see what's going on with this thing. 5.
Yeah,
my perception's real bad.
You know it's happening, you know it's coming, and so you know, like you just shot a real big bore gun, and now you're like, as you pull the trigger, you do the same thing and you accidentally close your eyes. It still goes off. Very good. So we see that the dancing narwhal comes up alongside these 2 ships and begins making a circular motion, and you see Graham call out and orders that all of the harpoons on one side be fired, and you see a couple of pirates on the deck get skewered by large harpoons, and you see that there are a few archers on the pirate ship and a couple of casters, and you see this hail of arrows and firebolts come volleying back at the dancing narwhal. So when we return next week, we will begin with turn initiative as we engage in ship to ship to ship aerial battle in Dungeons and Dragons.
Excellent.
Welcome to the
Nice.
Thunderdome.